Hello, hi. Hey, so it's your friend Erica Swallow here, and I have with me Lee Tsung. We, if you didn't already know, are working on a Kickstarter campaign, which is called Entrepreneur Kid. It's a picture book series, and we wanted to come here today to answer any questions you might have about the series and also to show you some previews of the books. We have some early prototypes with us, and we'll be, kind of going through each book and answering any questions if you all are on your lunch breaks or anything. So definitely ask questions about the series. We'll be happy to go over them with you. And to start out, I wanted to just introduce Lee because we've worked together on creating these awesome books. We'll show you some examples here. We have, for example, Gabby and Jason's books here. And then we also have Rachel and Sebastian. So we wanted to share their stories with you and also talk a little bit about our creative process. So if you have questions, ask in the comments. We thank you, Rosie, Dan, and Crystal, for liking us. Good to see you are here. So to start out, Lee, maybe just tell us about your creative process, putting the books together, and then we'll actually take you through some examples.
Sure. So before I even to start creating the illustration, definitely it's Erica's writing, that describes very much in detail of every page that, about the story, and I read through the story, trying to imagine and also make sense of the story. We did some early sketches, from the hand-drawn sketches, just to show what page, which page looks like. And then from there, we'll meet, we'll start meeting up and getting some feedbacks for the first round and say what needed to be changed and keeps going. And then after that, I will use the updated feedback and to guide my next part of the illustration, and that is the individual pages for each book. I may wanted to give you a little tour of how each book looks like. Okay, so for example, this is Gabby Invents the Perfect Hair Bow. So this is the cover, and this is also an early prototype. We have changed the cover a little bit. And then we have the early prototype for the inside pages as well. For this whole series, definitely started with the illustration, and afterwards, after we visited the family with Gabby and Miss Goodwin, and they give us a lot of feedbacks on everything that we do, we did well and what we need to improve, and also make sure that we choose the color and things that would really match for this specific book series. So this is Gabby Invents the Perfect Bowl.
So one thing I wanted to point out was in our interviews with Gabby, and also online, you can tell that she loves pink. So one of the things that Lee did was to really emphasize the pink palette. So you'll see that throughout the book. In our early prototype even, you can see, let me get to, we often highlight characters in pink. Gabby's often wearing pink because that's her favorite color. You can see she has pink bows. And so that was one of the things I really liked about Lee's creative eye, bringing that to this particular book.
Yeah, so we definitely have a very specific color that we put, into the book. As you can see through, the next one that we can see is Jason.
Oh, I was going to say, hey, Alterel, hello. Elliot, thank you for joining us.
So Jason saved the environment through entrepreneurship. So this is the thing for Jason is green because it's related to environment and how he is contributing, through recycling electronics. So for Jason's book, definitely, we have a lot of stories that we also gained through the interviews that we have done with his family. We interviewed through Chinese, and which I get a really perfect understanding through his parents describing how Jason has grown through entrepreneurship. So this is the basic early prototype again about Jason's story.
For example, on this page, you can see that one of the inspirations for Jason's idea actually came in his in a high school world geography class where he was learning about electronic waste, which you can see here. So we kind of integrated that in. He was really sad to see that through that lesson that that we often we throw away electronics that end up in waste in landfills all across the world, in places like China and Ghana and India. And being that Jason himself was from China, he sort of empathized with that and said, I can't believe that we're throwing away all these electronics and they're going to villages that have to deal with e-waste. So his idea kind of stemmed from that social problem, and we were really excited to be able to tell that story. You can see here, for example, the e-waste is polluting a river stream and a cow. Lee brought some really comedic elements to this particular scene.
Yes, yes. So just to bring a little fun elements for the kids, to enjoy reading, in the future books. Yeah. Okay. So next one is about Rachel.
Do we do this one? All right. Yes. So with Rachel, we love this story because Rachel was not necessarily trying to be an entrepreneur. She ended up taking a class at her local chamber of commerce. And so with this book, I was excited to tell a story that entrepreneurship can be learned. It's not something that's innate or that it's not necessarily in your DNA. You can learn the behaviors to be an entrepreneur. And from a kid perspective, it's just cool to see that you can take a class and come up with ideas and actually implement them and come out with a project at the end that's really kind of a big deal. So in the illustrations here, you see Rachel's story starting from when she's a young kid and visiting her she used to go with her dad to the office. He's a businessman in Florida, and he introduced her to the concepts of business and entrepreneurship early on. She would bring her little briefcase to work with him and be able to see all this happening. And so it starts really early on, and as the illustrations go on and the story continues, you start to see how her idea develops. She decides to take this Young Entrepreneurs Academy course at the Boca Raton Chamber of Commerce, and she actually had, she wasn't sure very early on what idea she wanted to pursue. But around the time period they were deciding on concepts, she actually had a big problem, which was that her rebounder, it was either her roller rebounder, like her equipment was failing.
Yes.
So it broke, and she thought, oh, this is a problem I face all the time, and my colleagues playing lacrosse face too. Why don't I solve that problem? That's really what we love about these stories, is that they're actually solving real problems. So that's Rachel.
Yes, that is Rachel.
And to speak of colors, by the way, Rachel let us know that red was her favorite color. So I love that she pulls these colors in. It is also a color that's sort of fierce and competitive.
Yes.
Jinx.
Yes.
So that worked really nicely with Rachel turns a passion into a business.
Last one is Sebastian creates a sub company.
Yes. So this was one of the most colorful books, as you can see. Lots of colors and details, because really what Sebastian loves to do is illustrating. Learn a little bit about how she did this. Can you tell us about what you're holding here?
Okay, yeah, so basically this is the spread. As you can see, I printed on 11 by 17 inches of a piece of paper. And so this is the spread, and every page is actually supposed to be folded like that way. Yeah, and this is not by order, but as you can see, we have every page. Some pages are separated and, with the line and different illustrations. Some pages are connected, yeah.
And as you can tell, there's no text on this yet. Lee's process, this is very early on in the design process, where she was really just trying to match the storyline with graphics, and so she actually presented all of this in one big batch to me. It was really exciting that day. We were in Conway at Blue Cell, and she kind of spread these all over the table, and to be the author who wrote words and then to see the creativity that she brought to the illustrations was extremely exciting. And you'll see from from these that you're seeing in this Facebook Live to the final version, there's been a lot of changes, and you'll be able to kind of catch that. For example, this is a tiny detail since we're on this page. The stuff that was on the table here, I thought we might want to pump it up a bit. We couldn't really tell what is this stack of paper. She changed it into books and a telephone, I believe.
Yes.
So very small details, but also some larger ones as well.
Yes,
There are no longer thought bubbles, for example.
And as you can see, like this one is a spread page, so that it looks like one image through, across 2 pages. Yeah. So this is like some of the common things we use. Like some are separated and some are connected as a spread page. Yeah. So yeah, these are the.
Oh, and actually, by the way, if we want to look into our prototype book, you can see even here how this has changed since she was sort of talking about process. So you can now see that from that version to this version, we have some words. Even these words have changed to the final version, but we wanted to share with you sort of what it looks like when you go from one to another. And let me actually, since I brought it up, go to, by that point, I'll go to the spread page. So at this point, you can see some words have been added, the thought bubbles have been taken away. She added some additional socks here. Wait, there we go. This one, I was like, what hand am I looking at? The table hadn't quite been updated, but lots of great stuff. And I want to point out one of my favorite scenes is when all the boxes arrive, because these are all based on photos and videos and stories from the actual family. So these are like real scenes brought into a graphics perspective. So really cool stuff.
Yay!
Thanks, Moff! Getting one for your son. Yay! So excited. We're so happy for your support. Thank you so much for that. By the way, we didn't mention that today we've been on Kickstarter for 24 hours, and we just hit 20% of our goal overnight while we were sleeping. So we were at 19 point, I think 6 or 4 or something.
Before we go to bed.
Before we went to bed, and
then
when we
5 o'clock when we woke up, it's like
ta-da!
20 something actually. Yeah.
Yes.
Over 20,
So that was very exciting. It means a lot to have that early support. Kickstarter is obviously it's a 30-day process for us, and our goal is to raise $18,000 to go towards the printing and other costs that we incurred throughout that process, and we also include, by the way, 20% of the funds go back to all of the entrepreneur kids in the series. So Sebastian, Rachel, Jason,
and Gabby.
So they all get 5% of the campaign each, so a total of 20%. And we are also contributing 10% to a scholarship fund that we are creating where we can help support entrepreneurs in the future. We have some ideas on how we want to do that. We would love your feedback on that as well. Does anyone have questions? Muff, if you have questions too, let us know. Let's see. So we've talked a little bit about the creative process. Maybe tell me some of the challenges you came across while you were creating.
So let me tell you one example, especially for Gabby, because in this whole book of the series that we definitely value diversity, we value different industry or different background. So for Gabby, I had actually difficulty, illustrating her hairstyle because I have different hairs, so I don't know what those hairs are actually, called. Cornrows and twists,
Yes,
so
twists and cornrows and pony puffs.
Yes. So even after I had my way of illustrating it, when I submitted this to Miss Goodwin, she actually gave a lot of feedbacks and say, okay, it's better if you change this way. It doesn't look well if you do that, and it won't actually fall out if it's cornrows, right?
Yes,
it is twist instead. So it took a lot of time, kind of trying to understand what the real problem is. By having a diverse background, like having different kind of hairstyle that we kind of have to understand. Along this process, I definitely learned a lot. How to value the different kinds of Erica wanted to.
So I'll show you what she was talking about. So this is an old prototype for here. So on this spread, you can see that Mrs. Goodwin is doing Gabby's hair here. She's getting ready for school, and in the following scene, she loses all of her hair bows, which this is the problem statement that Gabby is solving, essentially. The fact that she was losing all of her hair bows all the time. So if we zoom in up here, we'll see that the hairstyle that we had illustrated was actually a cornrow.
In the early,
yes, and so obviously us we don't have the same style of hair as Gabby, and so we wouldn't understand that. So it was necessary to have that input from the families, and Rosalind was very helpful in in showing us that if you have cornrows, they're actually really tight, and those wouldn't necessarily fall out.
Yeah.
So we don't have the updated version with us here in our hands and printed, but we have a digital version if you want to check it out. You can see that she changed the hairstyle in that scene, and future scenes as well, to be twists, large twists that do easily come out.
Yeah. So something, really good to expect from the series of book is definitely, like we are illustrating real kids from real stories. So a lot of the things we wanted to make, make sense, right, to the different family and the kids, including all those who have been early, helpers to those kid entrepreneurs, because we have visited their family. They actually provided us photos and things that we are able to pull into this whole series. Yeah. So the portraits and things we utilized actually can fit specifically for a person, who have been featured on those books.
Yeah. And we're kind of winding down now, but I also wanted to bring out parent involvement, because that's one thing when we went and visited that Dan, by the way, shout out to Dan, my fiance, who's also a big part of our team. He was involved in all of the video, so the Kickstarter video, if you have seen that, that is his work. He did all the filming in all of the locations we went with all 4 of the families, and he also built the awesome website, entrepreneurkid.com. Go check that out. We wanted to say, and one thing that he also sort of noted when we were visiting the kids is how much the parent involvement made a big difference in each of these kids' stories. So do you have any particular stories you want to share from those trips, whether it be parent involvement or other things that kind of we haven't covered with our community?
I think we'll leave that to the next time, maybe.
Okay, that's a great idea. I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, and actually, Dan is chiming in here, asking what are the different levels of support. So on the Kickstarter campaign, if you go check that out, you'll see that you can actually support it at many levels, starting at $10 with rewards. So at $10, for example, you will get a big thank you on our website. And the most popular right now is actually the early bird specials. So get your early bird specials for $60. You can get
now
the full.
Only have how many left? We only have.
I'm gonna have to look it up, but
maybe it's like only 10 to 15.
Yeah, something like that. So let's hold up all of these books for $60 right now on the early bird special. You can get all 4 books. So here's 2 on my side and the other 2 books over there. This is the early bird special. You can get all 4 for $60. After the early bird special, it'll be $75. And now, if you're just really interested in one story in particular, for example, if you're really into Rachel's story or Sebastian's story or Jason's story or Gabby's story, and you really think that your kid will identify with that story, then you can get, for early bird special right now, is $20, and once the early bird special goes away, it's $25.
Yeah.
So you can get 1 book for $20 right now, or all 4 books for $60. And once the early bird specials go away, I believe we've capped it at around 50 of the series, and maybe you have to look. Sorry, I did not memorize all this. Oh, here we go. Perfect. So the early bird hardcover, there are 50 total. So you can, we've already have 7 backers at that level. Our most popular, though, is at the $60 level. We have 19 backers at getting the whole series early bird right now, so we have 31 left, and only 1 day has gone by, so definitely check that out. And we want to say a big shout out to Hea Al-Ghanim of Ula in Qatar, who's our huge, big supporter right now.
Thank you.
Thank you, Hea. She supported us at $1,500, which is our maximum amount right now for rewards, and that is to include an international speaking day with a signed full series, as well as the digital copies. So one of us will be going to Qatar soon. We'll see, to speak with an organization of Hea's choice. And also, if you're located in the United States, there is a reward for $800. We will cover our own travel. You also get the full series signed and digital series for $800. So we have a lot of ranges here. We also have some mid-ranges in between that. You can get 2 series in the double doers or 3 in the triple timers to gift a series, keep a series, maybe donate one to your local library. All right.
That should be for today. Yeah,
yes.
We will meet another time and we'll tell you more about, the other side of this, book, which is the parent, and a little more update for our project and overall Kickstarter campaign.
Yes. Thank you for all of your support so far. We're heading towards our goal and we really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.